now's a good time to be trading crazy small to the point where you feel like it doesn't even matter that you're so small, because the moves you're getting 3-month moves in a half hour sometimes, which is unheard of. I remember 2008 was crazy, but this has been more violent so far than even that was. I don't know if it's as spooky as that was at the bottom. It's close. I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's a whole different situation. And I've moved back into shorter term trading because the moves are huge. It's stupid if you're going to do something you take a ton of risk holding things overnight right now because there's no clarity. So it just makes sense. It's kind of like you go where the action is, and then if you have a picture of where you want to be longer term, you pick that back up when this settles down, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm back in there doing that right now, and then I will pick back up kind of where I was growing myself with a longer time frame when it makes more sense. But right now, there's just kind of a sit and wait on the longer time frame because who knows what's going to happen here, right? And we don't know, is this thing going to go away in the summer? Maybe. It's supposed to. Is it going to come back next season? Who knows? Is there debt issues in the economy for the travel companies and the banks that hold debt from oil companies who are below the cost of production, or it costs more to make the oil than they get for it? So there's all those issues swirling around. Nobody really knows for sure how that's going to play out. So it makes sense to really be small and to be it's like you're in a dark room and you're stepping one foot in front of the other. And that way you keep yourself safe. There's tons of opportunities. You can do well, and you can handle it because you're so small. You can ride out the swings, and you can take those setups that you normally do and look at them on a shorter horizon. And then keep an eye on I'm watching a lot of the mask stocks and the testing stocks and Zoom, the video conferencing stocks, and just all kinds of things to get a beat on what the market's doing. And then just watching, keep an eye on those longer term levels in the index when we're during the day. Sometimes we hold those big weekly and monthly levels that you might not be looking at, and just doing things like that. So for me, it's slipping back into an old way of life actually for a while, and then I'll be out of it when it settles down. And I think it makes sense to always be that way to some extent, where you're an opportunist, and when opportunity strikes, you jump in, and then you go back to what you're doing. So that's how I'm doing it right now. And one of the adjustments I had to make, though, and I'm just beating this over and over again into the ground because it's so important, is you just have to be really small. And what happens is you lose money, you make money, and then all of a sudden you fall into something, and maybe you get a little bit bigger because you really see something. But you just can't do that from the get-go. You have to work your way into it. You have to kind of feel the market, because we're moving 1,000 to 2,000 Dow points in a day, which is pretty much unheard of. So, and it's not, 2008 was a little cleaner because it was the financial system. You could look at the banks and see that they're weak. Here, you don't really have stuff to look at. It's just kind of panicky right now. And is it just the virus, or is it other things? And right now it's the virus, but there's stuff that's bubbling up under the surface that maybe was waiting to come out, and maybe this is what causes it to come out. So it's a good trading environment because of the uncertainty. People are panicking and moving money in, moving money out. And one of the things I've learned about myself is holding some stocks longer term. When I say longer term, I'm talking about years and years of just holding a small amount. I did that with a small amount of my money. I know that's kind of a regular person's strategy who have a regular job, because I'm trading and I don't need to trade with all my money. So I keep some of that in the market. And I'm thinking that maybe that's not for me. Maybe more of a barbell strategy where I'm heavily in cash and then I'm trading. And then when the market has some crazy move, maybe it falls by 2/3 in our lifetime or something, then I'm really heavily in stocks again, and then I'm trading around it. And I think that makes more sense for me than I don't like watching stuff draw down against me, because it messes up my head when I'm trading to know that I have other money that's working against me. So that if you're a doctor with a regular salary coming in, that would not be a problem for you. But I think my point here is that you really need to understand your psychological, emotional makeup, and you also need to think about your life and how you make money. And if you're an entrepreneur and you're uncertain with your income, you need to take account for that and hold a lot more cash and be waiting for opportunities. 4 to 6. One of my friends said, you make 4 to 6 big decisions in your lifetime. That's just as good as the power of compounding. So there's different ways to do it. And that would not be the advice for the average person, but it might be for you or someone who is in that kind of life versus the normal setup. So I'm learning some stuff about me that way that I kind of knew, but it tends to come out at times like this. So pretty crazy, huh? It's been 17 years of this and you're still trying to figure out who you are. That's what I told my friend the other day. I'm still figuring out who I am, but it's a lot easier when you stay small because then you get big at the right time. So that's it for now, and we'll see how this plays out.